I would say that speech was a masterpiece till the part about but and half my speech was going to be to thank Daylin and Jennifer, but since he said not really that big of a deal. No, but I really want to thank you. Those of you all of you that have participated in politics and come to these things know what it means to open your house up to people for the purposes of a fundraiser and invite people into your home and prepare for it and do all the things necessary. And I don't think you can ever thank anyone enough for that gesture and for that introduction, Daylin. I thank you and Jennifer very much for your support. So Daylin, I think, probably said it better than anyone could say it about why this is important. For those of you who don't know that much about my background, I'll tell you real briefly. I am a graduate of Georgetown University. Before that, I went over here to Valley Forge Military College. And after college, I went into the Army. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division. I was an Airborne Ranger. We have a fellow person that served with the 82nd here, Mr. Pearlstein. And I was, at the age of 22, I was a rifle platoon leader in the 82nd Airborne Division. I was an Airborne Ranger. I led 38 paratroopers for just under 4 years, including a 6-month tour in the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt as part of the peacekeeping force there. After that, I got out of the Army and I went to law school. When I got out of law school, I became a prosecutor, and I was a prosecutor in the city of Philadelphia for 6 years. I spent 6 years prosecuting violent crime. I started the only unit prosecuting gang violence in the city of Philadelphia, and I stayed active in the reserves. I ended up serving in Bosnia in 1998 for 10 months doing reconstruction, and in 2003 the unit that I'd been in Bosnia with was activated for Iraq, and I volunteered to go with that unit to Iraq in 2004. I spent about 10 months in Mosul. And a good friend of mine, Terry Evans, here is it Colonel Terry Evans now? Who served with me in Iraq, is here this evening. And when I got back from Iraq, partly based on what I saw in Iraq and my experience there, I decided that I wanted to get involved in public life, to run for office, so that I could have an impact on the policies and the fact that I thought I had something to offer, that I had a perspective on the policies being made by our Congress at that time that other people didn't have. And I was off to a pretty good start. Those of you who may have followed the 2006 election may remember me. I was a candidate for about, I think, 30 days, and I raised about $150,000. And because of the storyline of being an Iraq war veteran, I was getting a lot of traction. I was getting making some progress. The highest rank I attained in the military was as a major. And about the second month of my campaign, an admiral came into the district. So I was clearly outranked, and I made the decision at that time to switch from the congressional race and run for the State House.
Thanks for doing that, Paul.
And it was sold to me by people I won't name as not only was it a good idea, but it would be a lot easier than running for Congress. Boy, was I a novice, because I was really out of the frying pan and into the fire. I went from running in a congressional district in a year when Congress was trending tremendously Democratic, to a 56% Republican state legislative district, which had been held by the same person for 28 years. Had a 33% Democratic registration. And for those of you that follow State House politics, you know that up until 2006, incumbents very rarely lost, and long-term incumbents almost never lost. But I went out and I took it on, and I knocked on 20,000 doors personally. I went to 20,000 houses, knocked on the door, shook the hands of the people that were willing to answer their door, told them my story, told them what I thought I could do in government, and I won that election by 800 votes. And since that time, as Daylin mentioned, I've had the opportunity to serve in the State House. And what my experience in the State House has taught me, it's reaffirmed what I learned throughout life, and that's that individuals can make a difference. From a political perspective, who you elect makes a difference. When I was in the State House my first term, Daylin was still in the House at that time, he'll remember, we had a one-vote majority. One-vote majority. So it meant on any given issue, every man was a king. Every man or woman could make the difference as to whether that legislation passed or failed. And with that slim majority, we were able to pass significant legislation dealing with energy independence and the development of clean energy in the state of Pennsylvania. We were able to pass some internal reforms. We were able to increase education funding. We were able to do a lot of things that are important to Democrats, but to the citizens, the children of this state. And if we had not had one more election in 2006, we couldn't have done any of those things. So I learned up close and personal the impact of elections and that it does matter. And as Daylin pointed out, we have these tremendous challenges in facing our country. Global warming, our destructive dependence on foreign energy sources, our economy and the damage that's been done to it by abuses on Wall Street, our healthcare system, which insures too few people and still has a situation where people, if they have a family member gets sick, can go bankrupt as a result of it, even if they have a job and they have health insurance. These are tremendous problems that offer tremendous opportunity for great solutions that are going to make people's lives